Silicon Valley, technology, art, green, and sustainability.
For good luck.
Welcome to another episode of Silicon Valley Tech, Art, Green, and Sustainability, SVTAGS. Today I have joining me a gentleman who's a very successful businessman, returning guest, and now a quite famous artist in the Bay Area, Michael Killen. Thank you for joining us again.
Heather, thank you for having me on your show. It is an honor.
It's amazing the things you've done, and I think it's been a couple years, maybe a year and a half since you've been on, and
Yes.
we're going to be taking a look at some of that today. And before we go there, for people that didn't see the first show with you on it, can you tell us a little bit about your background and history? And I know a lot about you, but some people that are watching the show may not, so tell us a little bit, anything you want to share.
My long history is shortly after high school, I was discovered working in a company called Wang Laboratories by the chairman of the company. And again, very little college at all. And all of a sudden, he appointed me the head of the sales training department, and I had never sold anything in my life. And from then on, for the next 6 years, he promoted me, gave me one great assignment after another. That's where I got my education. And after about 3 years, I was the assistant to the president of the company for special projects. And to meet the demands that he placed on me to help him make progress, I had to study philosophy, strategies, computing. And after 6 years, I was invited by SRI International to come to California. They recruited me to...
Which is Stanford Research Institute?
Well, that's what it used to be called,
Okay.
SRI International. They are a gigantic research company. They do a lot of work for the government. And they recruited me to become the director of market research and development for a company in Silicon Valley. And then shortly after that, I started my own company. Basically, I started to do what Wang Laboratories chairman wanted me to do, developing business opportunities. And I became a TV talk show host, somewhat like you. I became a talk show host because I made a book called IBM, The Making of the Common Few. And one of your colleagues, Charlie Klass, invited me on his show. And from then, he asked me to be a partner.
And you loved it.
Yeah, I loved it. And Charlie and I made about, 300 or 400 shows together. And then I got injured unexpectedly, and a bad injury. It took me almost 10 years to recover, and I had to shut down my research company. And as I started to recover in a therapy class, I started to paint. I had no desire to paint, and instantly the canvas, the paint, talked to me, and I made a few changes. Within 90 days, I decided to repaint Picasso's greatest work called Guernica. It was 26 feet, complicated painting. After 9 months, and I repainted his painting, made it 7 feet long, and all of a sudden, the Basque people, that's where Guernica is in Spain, told me the 70th anniversary of Guernica is coming up, and they heard I had made a Guernica. They came, looked at my painting, called back the next day, and they said, "You have won. We have selected your painting." This doesn't happen to anyone who just been painting. And then, maybe 2 years later, I opened up my email, and there is an email from NASA saying, "You have been chosen. You have been selected to make a painting for us inspired by a new building we are making." They were making a building called Sustainability Base, and it would be the most energy and water efficient building in the entire...
I've been there, and it's crazy, incredible. Anybody that's interested in building efficiency needs to go see it.
Yes.
It's amazing. So is that, before we go there, let's pull up the first slide, which shows some of your history. You were involved with Painting to Change the World and then the Killen Report. Tell us a teeny bit about that, and then we're going to go forward to we'll pull that down. And I love the logo on that too,
Okay.
which was
The Killen Report, we use that name because I publish for almost 30 years reports for companies like Adobe, AT&T, IBM, SAP, helping them identify and seizing business opportunities. So we carried the Killen Report over. It used to be also the name of the TV show, and so that's why it's up there.
And that was with Mr. Class?
And that was with Mr. Class. And the Painting to Change the World came about because I met one of the world's great climatologists, Stephen Schneider, from Stanford University, and he asked me, he had seen some of my art, and he asked would I put on an event with him where my art would be displayed, and he would basically introduce me to the greater Palo Alto community as an artist who was providing a new tool to help increase awareness of sustainability, resilience, and climate change. And I could hardly spell climate change at that time, and so the Painting to Change the World was sort of what we put the whole program under at that time.
Let's bring another slide up, because I'm not sure if it's slide 2 or 3. So this one to the left, this is not the one we're talking about now, but the one in the background is the one we're talking about?
The one in the background is 24 feet. That's the painting I made for NASA. And it was inspired by this new building, sustainability base, which would become an important building in the world of highly energy efficient buildings. And they put it in their building, and every
So does
now
it have a permanent home there?
no, I own everything I paint, except for a few paintings I have sold or given away to friends. I own them because I have a tour called the Sustainable and Resilient California Art Speaker Tour. And
this is part of what you're doing now.
Yes.
And tomorrow. So you'll be doing some more of these at different places, and we'll look at some of the places you've done some of the tours already. At the current one that's happening tomorrow, will you be doing this again maybe at Moffett?
I would say probably so.